Before Will Smith was a global superstar, one sitcom quietly changed everything. A cast member once refused to come out of their trailer, and it forced a complete script rewrite. One emotional scene hit so close to home, it left the entire set completely silent. And one of the most iconic exits in TV history wasn't even planned the way you think. But what happened behind the scenes of this show is even more surprising than what made it on screen. Because the biggest moments weren't just acting. They were real. One episode nearly got pulled because it went too far emotionally. Another moment changed the entire direction of a character, permanently. These are 15 things fans never noticed about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. If you love behind-the-scenes stories like this, make sure you're subscribed, because there's a lot more coming. The Fresh Prince looked like a fun, light sitcom on the surface. But behind the scenes, things were way more intense than people realized. And some of those moments didn't just shape the show, they completely changed it. Number 1. When Will Smith first got the role, he had no acting experience, and it showed immediately. During early filming, he struggled so much with memorizing his lines that he would quietly mouth other actors' dialogue while they were speaking. If you go back and watch closely, you can actually see it, his lips moving just a split second ahead of the lines. It became noticeable enough that producers started to worry. But here's where things changed. Instead of replacing him, they adapted around him. Acting coaches were brought in, pacing was adjusted, and scenes were structured to play into his natural charisma rather than against it. And that shift mattered, because what started as a weakness turned into something authentic. Over time, he improved dramatically, and by later seasons, he wasn't just keeping up, he was carrying some of the most emotional scenes in the entire show. That early struggle didn't hurt the show, it helped define it. Number 2. Janet Hubert, the original Aunt Viv, didn't just leave the show quietly. Her exit became one of the most talked about controversies tied to the series. Behind the scenes, tensions were building between her and Will Smith, along with disagreements about direction and screen time. And it didn't stay subtle. Communication reportedly broke down to the point where filming became uncomfortable. Then it escalated. Her departure forced the show to recast the role entirely, something sitcoms rarely do without explanation. And fans noticed immediately. The new Aunt Viv brought a completely different tone, which shifted the dynamic of the family. But the bigger story didn't end there. The tension between Hubert and Smith carried on for years, shaping how fans viewed that era of the show. And when they finally addressed it publicly decades later, it added an entirely new layer to what happened behind the scenes. Number 3. That famous scene where Will's father leaves him again almost didn't go the way you saw it. The moment starts like a typical sitcom setup, but then everything shifts. As Will begins to break down, questioning why his father doesn't want him, the emotion becomes overwhelming. And here's what most people don't realize. Will Smith went off script during parts of that scene. The line delivery wasn't exactly what was written. It came from a real place. And what happened next caught everyone off guard. James Avery, playing Uncle Phil, didn't interrupt or redirect him. He stayed in the moment. The hug at the end wasn't just acting, it was a genuine response. And after the scene ended, the set reportedly went completely silent. No immediate cut, no quick reset. That moment changed everything. It proved the show could go far deeper than anyone expected, and from that point forward, the writers leaned into more serious, emotional storytelling. Number 4. Alfonso Ribeiro's Carlton dance became one of the most recognizable moves in TV history. But it wasn't supposed to be. The dance was inspired by Bruce Springsteen and Eddie Murphy, and it started as a one-off joke during rehearsals. At first, producers weren't sure it would land. It felt random, maybe even too silly. But then they saw the audience reaction. It got laughs every time, so they kept it. Then they leaned into it. Entire scenes were built around it. But here's where things got complicated. The dance became so popular that it started defining Carlton's character more than anything else. Ribeiro later admitted he worried it might overshadow his acting. Still, that spontaneous moment turned into a signature element of the show, and a piece of pop culture that's still recognized decades later. Number 5. James Avery wasn't just playing Uncle Phil. He became a mentor to Will Smith behind the scenes in a very real way. During emotional scenes, Avery would challenge Smith to go deeper, sometimes giving direct, no-nonsense feedback right before filming. And one moment stood out. After the father scene, Avery reportedly told him, "Now that's acting." But it wasn't just praise, it was a turning point. That mentorship shaped how Smith approached serious scenes moving forward. And it also created pressure. Smith has said he constantly wanted to prove himself, especially in front of Avery. That dynamic pushed him harder, made performances stronger, and helped elevate the emotional depth of the show. It blurred the line between acting and real growth, and that's part of why those moments still resonate. And if you're enjoying this, I've put together more deep dives like this, plus where to watch these shows, in the description below. Number 6. DJ Jazzy Jeff getting thrown out of the house became a running gag. But it didn't stay simple for long. Early versions of the scene relied on camera cuts and basic choreography, but as the show went on, they pushed it further. The throws became more physical, more exaggerated, and more unpredictable. And that created a new challenge. Each version had to top the last one. Timing became critical. Jeff had to adjust his reactions to make each throw feel fresh and funnier than before. And behind the scenes, it required more coordination than you'd expect for a quick joke. What started as a simple gag turned into a signature moment fans looked forward to every time, and it became a defining piece of the show's identity. Number 7. The show tackled serious issues like racism and class, but one episode nearly didn't air at all. The storyline pushed emotional boundaries further than the network was comfortable with. There were real concerns about how audiences would react. But the producers didn't back down. They believed the show needed those moments to stay relevant, and they were right. When the episode aired, it became one of the most talked about of the series. It proved that a sitcom could handle real-world issues without losing its audience. And from that point forward, the show leaned more confidently into deeper themes. And if you think these are surprising, the next ones get even more intense. Number 8. The Banks house might look like a real mansion, but the layout doesn't actually make sense. Exterior shots were filmed at a real house in Los Angeles, while the interior was built on a soundstage. But here's the part most fans missed. The inside layout changes depending on the scene. Hallways shift, doors move, staircases don't line up. And once you notice it, it's hard to ignore. But there's a reason. The set was designed for camera angles and audience sightlines, not realism, which meant continuity took a back seat. It made filming easier, improved comedic timing, and allowed for better audience reactions. So while it may not make sense architecturally, it worked perfectly for television. And that trade-off helped the show feel as dynamic as it did. Number 9. Will Smith almost didn't get the role at all, and it came down to a single moment. He met Quincy Jones at a party and was essentially asked to audition on the spot. No preparation, no script, just perform. And somehow, he pulled it off. That moment led directly to the show being built around him. But here's what makes it even more surprising. If he had hesitated, even slightly, the opportunity might have disappeared. The entire show could have gone in a completely different direction. That one decision didn't just launch a show, it launched a career. Number 10. Karen Parsons quietly reshaped her character in ways most viewers never noticed. Early scripts portrayed Hillary as purely shallow and materialistic. But Parsons added subtle layers, small reactions, tone shifts, emotional beats, and over time, it changed how the character was written. Writers adjusted based on her performance. Hillary became more relatable, more human, without losing her comedic edge. That shift didn't happen overnight, but it made a difference. It turned what could have been a one-dimensional character into something more memorable. Number 11. Filming in front of a live audience changed everything about how the show was performed. Unlike single-camera productions, timing had to be perfect. If a joke didn't land, it was obvious immediately. And that created pressure. Scenes sometimes had to be redone, not because of mistakes, but because the audience reaction wasn't strong enough. But when it worked, it really worked. The energy in the room translated directly to the screen, and that real-time feedback shaped the pacing, the rhythm, and even how actors delivered their lines. Number 12. At one point, a cast member refused to come out of their trailer due to disagreements over a scene. Production stalled. Scripts had to be adjusted, and things could have easily fallen apart. But instead of shutting everything down, the writers adapted quickly. They rewrote portions of the episode to work around the situation, and surprisingly, it didn't hurt the final product. In some ways, it made the scene stronger. It showed how flexible the production had to be, and how quickly things could shift behind the scenes. Number 13. Ashley's character evolved in a way many viewers didn't fully notice. She started as the youngest, most innocent member of the family. But over time, her storylines became more grounded and complex. This wasn't random. Writers intentionally adjusted her role to reflect real growth and changing audience expectations. That shift allowed the show to explore deeper topics through her perspective, and it added another layer of emotional depth that wasn't there at the beginning. Number 14. Some of the show's most emotional scenes didn't just affect the audience, they affected the cast. There were moments so intense that actors needed time to decompress between takes. Production schedules had to adjust. The emotional weight carried beyond the script, and that's part of what made those scenes so powerful. They weren't just performed, they were felt. That authenticity came through on screen, making those moments unforgettable. Number 15. The final episode carried an emotional weight that went beyond the story. As Will walks through the empty house, saying goodbye, it mirrors his arrival in the very first episode. But everything feels different. He's grown, changed, ready to move on. And here's what makes it even more powerful. The emotions weren't just acting. The cast was saying goodbye for real. That moment blurred the line between fiction and reality, and it gave the show an ending that felt earned, honest, and lasting. So which of these surprised you the most? And if you want more breakdowns like this, make sure you're subscribed, because there's always more behind these shows than you remember.